Would you like to know why Warren Buffett is richer than you? Or why can your seemingly useless high school classmate who barely finished school be richer? Maybe they've already seen this video. What? Stay here for a few minutes because that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Hi guys, welcome back. This is the Smart Invest.
But there's been an American nightmare that has accompanied that, and that's where people that equally have tried to get educated and worked hard and had good habits have found themselves living a life that's been on the edge throughout their entire lives, and the same for their children.
As Warren Buffett said, the number one problem is the paycheck-to-paycheck mentality. Approximately 60% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck. When you look around on the street, about 60% of the people you see struggle to buy food for their families at the end of the month. Of course, this depends on where you look around. There are places where these ratios are not exactly the same, but that's a detail. You know what's funniest? To struggle to pay your third speeding ticket at the end of the month, you don't necessarily have to work for a minimum wage. Some of our fellow humans are capable of doing this even with a six-figure net income. This phenomenon may not only affect the poorest class, but also individuals with above-average income. From this, we could draw a conclusion that if someone is struggling, it may not be so much due to the level of their income, but rather to their mindset. We could draw that conclusion, but it would be very painful for many. We know that Warren Buffett did not take his investments lightly, and he carefully considered his expenses. One of his famous sayings is, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." So if you want to break out of the working class, the modern matrix trap, you have to figure out how to do this. I looked into how Warren Buffett got rich more precisely and found something. I found 5 things you should stop doing immediately if you want to get rich in this lifetime. Your next life may be born into a wealthy family, and then you won't have to think about this all day. Or you might be a fish in an aquarium somewhere in northern Albania. Then you definitely won't have to think about it much. What? But what are those 5 things? Number 1, zero balance. Somewhere, everyone starts building wealth from zero. Let's say you have $100 in your pocket. This means you have $100 that you can spend right away, right? Let's see what the master of wealth building Warren Buffett says about this. Don't buy something you can't afford.
My advice to you is, if you can't pay for it, don't buy it, and get yourself in a position where you can pay for anything, and then we'll be glad to see you at Borsheim's or the Nebraska Furniture Mart.
As we heard from Warren Buffett, having $100 in your pocket doesn't mean you can afford to spend it on all sorts of funny and entertaining things. This is the essence of the zero balance mindset. No matter how much money you have, you should not spend it on meaningless and overpriced things. Warren Buffett himself, with a net worth of $100 billion, tries to spend less than $100,000 a year. It doesn't matter how much you earn. If you can't control your expenses, it's a problem. If you earn $50,000 a year and spend $50,000, you're in the same place as if you earned $150,000 and spent $150,000. But you're still better off than someone who earns $500,000 and can spend $600,000. So what's the lesson? Exactly. Start saving. If you have some money saved, it can come in handy in case of an emergency or if a good investment opportunity comes up. It's also worth building a safety net that can cover your expenses for 6 or even 12 months in case you lose your job. Your investments will likely grow over the years, but you have to let time work. Unless you want to take a very bold step, of course. Some people can drastically shorten this time with a few brilliant ideas, or at least they think are brilliant. This often doesn't happen in a positive direction, which is why it's crucial always to invest our money with the right knowledge. But when did Warren Buffett start investing?
On this March 11th, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 77 years since I bought my first stock. And I paid $114.75 for 3 shares of City Service Preferred.
Just like being a net buyer of food, I expect to buy food the rest of my life, and I hope that food goes down in price tomorrow. When stocks are down, we're going to be buying on balance, and who wouldn't rather buy it, at a lower price than a higher price?
I'll show you an example that helps understand the zero balance mindset. This is the rule of 5. If you have $100, you cleverly divide it by 5, and the $20 you get can be freely spent. Of course, you split it by 5 in your head, not on your phone, improving your thinking. And the remaining $80 you invest or set aside for better opportunities. Not divide it by 5 again and so on, because then the rule wouldn't make much sense. Second mistake, payment traps. In our wonderful world today, we have the opportunity to buy things that we don't really have enough money for, at the moment. Thank God, today you can buy a new Rivian for as little as $1,500 a month, which you can somehow afford. But you wouldn't be able to pay for this car in one go from your pocket because it costs more than $100,000. It's another question whether Rivian also costs nearly $100,000 to you, but let's not delve deeper into that here. Rivian fans would tear me apart in the comments. So fortunately, thanks to various credit cards and similar options, anyone can buy things they couldn't really afford because they think they'll pay it back slowly over the months. Buffett's insight. So the rule is simple. You must avoid payment traps and foolish credit use at all costs. But what's next if you've managed to avoid this? The third. But first, let me introduce today's video sponsor, who is none other than you. Yes, you heard it right. It's you. Being a small channel, even a simple like, can make a huge difference. And if you're interested in the world of investments, I recommend subscribing as well. The third point is compounding. Once you have the zero balance mindset and avoid letting dumb credits bankrupt you, you can start earning interest on your saved money. Compounding is the phenomenon by which you can achieve massive returns on your capital over the long term. Even Albert Einstein himself said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Buffett's insight.
When we get chances to deploy the capital, we've always tried to make any entity, whether it was the partnership originally or Berkshire now or Blue Chip Stamps when we owned it or even diversified retail, we wanted them all to be compounding, in effect, be compounding machines.
So if you want your money to start growing, you need to know the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets are things whose value remains and hopefully even increases over time. These can be your real estate, the Da Vinci painting without documents that you bought from Albanian gangsters and have been hiding in your basement for years, or maybe your Rolex on your wrist. And of course, the Coca-Cola shares hidden in the offshore account and the cryptocurrencies. Liabilities are things that suck money out of your system. This is your monthly installment for the Rivian, which will be worth a quarter of what you paid for it in 5 years. The TV you bought for your ex-girlfriend's mom and are still paying for 16 more months, or your phone that you lost but still have 8 months of installments left. It's not hard to decide which category to spend your money on if you want to get really rich. Don't buy supposedly original, suspiciously cheap paintings from people who speak English strangely because, historically, they've underperformed the stock market anyway. Most people accumulate liabilities because they want to appear rich. The result, of course, is that they will be burned throughout their lives and go to work every morning, tired, depressed, just to pay back the bank's money. If people would rather spend their money on real assets, they could later, when these generate enough money, comfortably buy those things. Even the Rivian in installments. But of course, now come the excuses that not everyone can buy real estate for investment purposes. But you can start buying stocks with much less capital. To build real wealth, we need to start making our money work for us. The fourth mistake is the show-off lifestyle. This phenomenon is much more noticeable today due to the influence of social media. On various platforms, anyone can show the world their latest car or vacation at a glance. But of course, in many cases, this is just an appearance, as our people don't write next to the picture that the bank paid them for this and they'll have to work for it for a long time. In contrast with truly wealthy people, it is often observed that they prefer to withdraw from public view and do not flaunt their latest sports cars on social media. Maybe real rich people don't buy luxury cars in a row but can find joy in things that don't cost millions. But what is the fifth rule? Think ahead. In most of our expenses, if we took just a minute before buying to think about how much we really need the thing, maybe how much we'll use it, and how many hours we had to, or will have to work for its price, we might decide differently. With this habit, we can avoid a lot of unnecessary spending, and the money saved can be invested. As you begin to see your money grow, you'll want it to grow faster. As a result, you'll subconsciously be looking for ways to invest even more money. Thanks to this mindset, you'll have the motivation you need, and you'll find a way to earn more money. If you liked the video, found it informative, and would like to help me on my journey toward 1,000 subscribers, please press the like button and subscribe. See you in the next episode.